Pay close attention. We're going to break this down.
Of Mali. But the thing is, that's why you find people like Kevin Hart, who subscribes to these theories, who claim that his ancestors built the pyramids. I'm sorry, your ancestors had their own wonderful civilization in West Africa. They are culture appropriating my culture, calling the people.
Now this is funny. He claims that his culture is being appropriated. We're going to get to the bottom of this, and we're going to do this objectively and academically. And I assure you, whether you're an Arab, whether you're an Egyptian today, meaning an Egyptian citizen, or your ancestry is from the most recent inhabitants of Egypt, which are Arabs who speak Arabic, we're going to clarify such that it is clear as day and it's undeniable, the truth that I'm going to present to you all. So right now he's claiming that Kevin Hart cannot say that his ancestors were the pyramid building Egyptians. He's claiming that his ancestors, the Arabs, were the pyramid building Egyptians. We're going to make that as clear as day, and it'll be so plain. The evidence I'm going to present to you will be so plain that it's undeniable. But I want to continue playing this for you.
In Egypt of today, despite their skin tone, that they call us as invaders, they call us as intruders, and they are being erased from our own history. It's not about black and.
So that's correct. You were invaders, and there's nothing wrong with that necessarily. History is really just the recounting of various wars that have occurred, and clearly the victors rewrite history. So now, let's go ahead and learn something, if you don't mind, from a teacher. So do confirm when you're able to share see my screen. I want to share with you a slide. I'm going to make this very simple. You see, one thing I pride myself on is the ability to teach anyone. So I make the lessons very simple and clear, such that the facts and the truth are undeniable. So pay attention to this. Now, let me, so I can't full screen that. Okay, so I'm going to enlarge this here. Now, the gentleman Bassem Youssef, which is an Arabic name, which comes from the Arabic language, which is connected to the Arab people who come from Saudi Arabia, that Arab peninsula. Every person that you look at has racial features that are connected to either the Mongoloid, the Caucasoid, or the Negroid racial category. Ethnicities and histories are generally connected to racial realities, right? So now let's take a look. I've already identified for you guys in the past certain racial features that are common among a given group. Now, the Arab is not a pure archetype representing one of the racial categories. They fit best into the Caucasoid category. What you should observe from a feature standpoint, I put my photo, I put King Tutankhamun, so this is clearly one of the pharaohs from the pyramid building era of Egyptian history, and the farther back you go in Egyptian history, the blacker it gets. Now, I want you guys to notice something. Look at the lips of Piers Morgan. Piers Morgan, we can all agree, is a European white man, right? We all agree Piers Morgan is a European white man. If you look at his lips, they're pretty much non-existent. Now you look at Bassem Youssef's lips, they're also non-existent. They fit into the Caucasoid racial category. This is why you see a lot of white girls getting these lip injections, because their natural racial features leaves them with very thin lips. Furthermore, let us look at another racial feature that manifests itself in the white or European human, which I've pointed out before. Their nose comes from the brow. So this brow bone, their nose pretty much shoots down, and also they tend to have larger, bigger nose that protrude from the face. This is their racial, these are their common racial features. And I'm not saying any of this to be disrespectful, just merely factual. You look at your gentleman Piers Morgan, you see that right here, there's the brow, there's an indentation in fact here, and then the nose shoots straight down, and the nose is large and protruding, which is typical of the European. Similarly, you look at this fellow right here, who indeed is Arab, so there's minor differences, but he is essentially fundamentally one who fits into the Caucasoid racial category, as evidenced by his light colored eyes, which is a phenotypical feature of the European. Europeans come from the colder regions that get less sunlight. They tend to be lighter in complexion. They have lower levels of melanin. Their eyes are lighter. And all of these things allow them to get more vitamin D for the sun for survival. Anyways, similarly, you'll see his nose comes from the brow and shoots straight down. There's no curvature. There's no narrowness of the nose bridge. It's a fairly wide, pronounced nose bridge. The nose protrudes and it shoots down from the brow. These are the features of the white human or the European. It's as clear as day. He has no lips whatsoever. Piers Morgan has no lips. He has a nose that shoots from the brow. Piers Morgan has a nose that shoots from the brow. Piers's eyes are closed, but I'm presuming they're blue. But if not, I think we can all agree that white folks have light colored eyes, sometimes blue, sometimes green, often brown, because light colored eyes is a recessive feature. But the point is, these are two European types. Even this Arab fellow is a European type. Now, let's look at what's been immortalized in history. If you look at King Tutankhamun in the upper left corner, don't confuse him for me, because we have the exact same features as we both fit into the Negroid category, also today known as the African or the black man. Look precisely at this brow bone right here. The nose does not shoot down from the brow bone on King Tut, nor does he on Marquette Devon. This is what God wanted. The nose comes down smooth with curvature. You would notice this on the King Tut, and you notice it precisely the exact same way on my face. Mind you, I'm one of those black Americans that Bassem Youssef was referring to. Further, once you get down the nose, looking at the curvature and the sloping of that nose, then you look at the actual construction of the nose. My nose looks exactly the same as King Tut's. You might also note that this is the exact nose that everyone wants to get when they go to get plastic surgery. Just side note, these are godly features here. I'm just recounting the facts. Now, you look at the lips of King Tut. I could rip those lips off, or how about this? I could rip my lips off and place them directly on top of King Tut's lips, and it's a perfect fit in terms of shape. Why is that? Because we fit into the same racial category. There is absolutely no way you can tell me that a black man looks more like a white man than a white man. That doesn't make sense. The black man in the upper right corner looks like the black man in the upper left corner. The white man in the bottom right corner looks like the white man in the bottom left corner, which is to say the Arab is more close to the European in terms of racial features. That's just all there is to it. So do not steal my history, Bassem Youssef, and all of those Arabs who purport to be Egyptians. I understand when you say Egyptian, you're referring to a specific ethnic group, a subgroup of Arabs who are now in the land known as Egypt. But you are not Egyptians, no more than the white American is an American. No more than the white Australian is an Australian. In both cases, they're generally British, Anglo-Saxon whites who come from Europe. And in the case of Bassem Youssef, he's an Arab that comes from the Arabian Peninsula, not from the African continent. The pyramid building peoples were immortalized. And that's why when you see those statues, the nose is often broken off. Why? Because the nose looks like a black man's nose, not like an Arab's nose. Now, let me tell you guys this. Do you believe that your eyes deceive you? Will this man convince you that your eyes deceive you? You can look as clear as day. Bassem Youssef has literally no lips. He has no lips to speak of. Piers Morgan has no lips to speak of. So how do you convince us that you are the descendants of the pyramid building Egyptians when he's right there as clear as day with the fullest lips you could ever imagine? How do you convince us that you are of the pyramid building people, even if we look at the brow bone and you look at my eyebrows, which grow naturally like that, and then you look at King Tut's eyebrows, they try to convince you that your eyes deceive you. Come on. Look at Bassem Youssef's lips. Look at King Tut's lips. Doesn't match. Look at Piers Morgan, his lips. Look at King Tut's lips. Don't match. Look at my lips. Look at King Tut's lip. It's a perfect match. Look at my brow bone and the thinness of the brow. Look at King Tut's. It's a perfect match. Arabs tend to be hairier. They'll have fuzzier eyebrows, thicker eyebrows. These are their racial features. So how is it that you look nothing like this pyramid building race, yet you try to claim you are them? And you get so angry when Kevin Hart, a black man, says, we are the pyramid building race. He might not be of the pyramid building ethnicity, the specific African tribe that constructed them, but undoubtedly, he is of that racial category. Now, here's the funny thing. All of the sudden, people want to deny our racial features. How many years have blacks been ridiculed for having big lips? How many centuries have blacks been made an object of ridicule for having dark skin, full lips? Come on. Yes. And now we try to pretend as though we're blind and we don't see his full lips. Come on. It's ludicrous. Bassem Youssef doesn't even look close to King Tut. Now, we can go on to the debate. I just wanted to point that out. I find it to be ludicrous. There he is, the Egyptian, right? How are you an Egyptian that doesn't look Egyptian? How are you an Egyptian that doesn't look Egyptian? And if Kevin Hart was so wrong, why am I, a black person, the only one there that looks like King Tut? Why? Because he's a black person. You've never in your life heard of big lip white people. You've never heard in your life of big lip Arabs. That's a black feature. The lies and dishonesty are so despicable. These people are psychotically racist. They're so racist, it's mental illness. And today, when you look around and you see women, you don't even know what a white woman looks like anymore. You don't know what an Arab woman looks like anymore. You don't know what a Persian woman looks like anymore. Why? Because they get the surgery to chop that nose down. Why? Because they get the fillers to pump those lips up. We don't even know what they look like anymore. And the scorned among us, the black man and woman who is scorned, now they imitate us. Pay money and go under the knife's blade, the blade of the surgeon, to imitate us and deny our history. I won't have it. It's nonsense. Look at this thin lip rascal. Stop it. Stop it. Now, I made that so simple that you do not need for me to run down all of the historiography that proves the point. You can look. What he said was so silly. It's like me claiming that my aunt, like him claiming to be an Egyptian, is as ludicrous as me claiming to be a descendant of the Han dynasty in China. You can look at their eyes and see they have an epicantic eye fold. Then you look at my eyes, I don't have an epicantic eye fold. We're clearly two different races. Same thing. You look at his racial features, they look nothing like the Pharaoh building Egyptians. You guys came after that. And as a great teacher, I know how to make it simple, very easy to understand. I mean, just the concept that we would rather ascribe Egyptian accomplishments. Egypt is within Africa. It's within Africa. We don't want to say that they're Africans, even though they're in Africa. We don't want to say they're Africans, even though they're on the Nile, and the Nile flows down to other darker countries that are still dark as all get out today. We don't want to ascribe it to Africa. We got to say these other people came in and did it. Stop it. It's like the racism is so deep that it becomes mental illness. It's wild. It really is. It really is. I made that so simple it's undeniable, yet people will still try to deny it. Carrying on. Made that so simple. Now let's hear again what Bassem claims.
And why? It's about the continuous culture appropriation.
Look at his lips. They don't exist.
And falsification of history that has been done by what the so-called...
We got a blue-eyed guy talking about what his ancestors have done in Africa. Stop it.
called Afrocentrist movement. The Afrocentric movement started the last century as a way, in a good intention, to teach African American about their.
I want you guys to be cautious because sadly, even when you have a figure like Gandhi, he might have good qualities, he might have intelligence, but man is not noble. It's very rare that you find one who is truly noble and is on a pursuit of truth and goodness. This fellow is on the pursuit of an agenda. There's just no doubt about it. And furthermore, we can all Google and see when the Arabs invaded Egypt. We can see when they invaded. So if they invaded, who was there already? Who was already there for them to invade? So if they invaded, that means they weren't already in Egypt. Assyrians invaded Egypt. Romans invaded Egypt. Arabs invaded Egypt. Who was already there for them to invade? Come on now. This is comedy. How do you claim that you're the original Egyptian when we can look up through a simple Google search and see when you invaded? That means you weren't from there. Same thing that you're claiming is the case with the Israelis. Same thing you're claiming is the case with the European Jews, that they invaded. And if you wait long enough, you let a couple hundred years go by, the Israelis will say we were always here. We are the Israelis. This is Israel. That's the same thing you are doing, buddy. Hypocrisy, we call it.
Rich history of West Africa, the great empire of Benin, of Ghana, of Songhali, the great empire of Mali. But the thing is, that's why you find people like Kevin Hart, who subscribes to these theories, who claim that his ancestors built the pyramids. I'm sorry, your ancestors had their own wonderful.
So you want to talk about what Kevin Hart's black ancestors did. What about your ancestors, my boy? You don't even know your history. You did a simple Google search, but you didn't do any real research. For example, if you were informed, let's see if you're really Egyptian. Or are you just an invader, like Kevin Hart said, rightfully? For example, I typed in when Arabs invade Egypt. Summary: during the reign of Umar, the second caliph of the Arabs. The Arabs, not the Africans, the Arabs, not the Egyptians, the Arabs. Arab armies under the leadership of Amr ibn al-As invaded and conquered. They did what? They invaded. If you invade, that means you're not the original people. If you invade, you are not the original people. So then the question arises, who did you invade? Who were the original people? Who were already there? The black man and woman. Stop it with stealing our history, buddy. Do not dare claim that you are the Egyptian when right here on a plain, easiest day Google search, it shows that you are an invader. You could have done that Google search, but you didn't want to because you want to steal our history and have the audacity to turn around and claim that we're stealing it. Amazing. Amr ibn al-As invaded. The Arabs invaded and conquered Egypt in 639 AD. Egypt was then a province of the Byzantine Empire. Oh, are you telling me that the Byzantines had already conquered Egypt? Ruled by a governor residing in Alexandria. Okay. So can we say that many peoples had conquered Egypt, but this was all after the pyramid building era, the great era of Egypt? Come on now, what are the facts? Who was in Egypt before Arabs? Before the Arab and Mediterranean invaders, when we say Mediterranean, what are we talking about? White Europeans, also known as Greeks, also known as Romans, on the Mediterranean. Italy, Greece. Yes. Now, let's read. Let's learn. Before the Arab and Mediterranean invaders, ancient Egypt was inhabited by who? Indigenous, meaning original to the land. Indigenous African people. Stop with the nonsense, buddy. Stop with the nonsense. You're a racist liar. That's what the facts say. Because you knew that you were not Egyptian. Because if you were Egyptian, why do you speak Arabic, my boy? You speak Arabic because you're an Arab, my boy. Come on, man. Stop it. Now, let me get back to our core topic. Get to our core topic to deal with these racists out here, man. Lord. Here we go. Okay, so this is the first one. And mind you, if there's anyone who thinks that they can dispute the indisputable, let me know. I'll be happy to have a conversation. But none of our eyes deceive us. We looked and we saw that these people look nothing like Egyptians. Look at this character right here. Even if Egyptians were black, it doesn't mean your ancestors were Egyptian. Yeah, I actually said that earlier. Were you not paying attention, my boy? I specifically said that the black American is more than likely from the West African tribes and ethnicities. However, from a racial category, yes, we are the Egyptians. So think before you write, please. Think before you write. The point is that the Egyptians were black like me. And that's why you see my features on the pharaohs, because I have the pharaoh's features. It's the same blood. Now, the black peoples have moved throughout the African continent. I recommend you study the Bantu migrations. Come on now, buddy. Don't talk when you're not mentally equipped. Pay attention. You'd be smart to listen first. You listen, you might learn something. Thank you.